Hi everybody, it's Michelle at Comfy Cozy Living. I know it's after Christmas, but like I said on the other video, I just wasn't able to post anything earlier. My kids aren't really receptive to me doing YouTube, and they're a little embarrassed and think that their friends are going to be watching my videos, and don't really know that it matters, but anyway, I am just wanting to post all my pretty stuff, and it's a little, a couple days after the holidays, so everything's not in normal place, but the decorations are still where they always were. So let's just take a look. And I'm sorry again for the lighting. That's something I'll have to work on going forward. There's one of the oldest ornaments with that kind of hook. Not hook really, but I love these tricolor ornaments. I have several. Oh, actually you can see 3 of them on the right now as you look. If you look carefully. I do have some little squiggly fluffy things that I got because I actually went to Walmart and saw them and thought they were cute. So I included those. This, I don't know why it's not moving, but it should be. But whatever. It's still pretty. It's very old. And here's another really awesome one. Anything with a deer is extra special. I think we all know that. And I used, for a tree skirt, I just used a Christmas-looking Afghan that I thought was awesome. So I do have some Raydon mixed in with everything. So I just like kind of hang some of these ornaments around because they're pretty. I like them. Here's my little deer area. A friend of mine made this one, and even though it's a buck, I wanted her to make it with a red nose because, hate to tell everybody, but Rudolph does grow up at some point. There's a girly candle, and there's another one over there. This white deer is from, I think it was TJ Maxx. I don't normally buy too many things that are not vintage in a sense, but when they're so darn perfect for the space, how do you not? So these are really old. One of them's eye is coming off a little bit. They are tiny. And then that one's a pretty one. Oh, she's so pretty. And the same friend that made this felt reindeer made this little page from a golden book, which I just love. And then I think a lot of us have this little bit of garland, the plastic vintage garland. Just kind of fit really perfectly in that space. Oh, I don't really want to show the couch because it's kind of messy. The dog was on it. There's the pillow and the quilt that is probably about 20 years old that was gotten on QVC as a Christmas present for me. So here is something I made. I live in Wisconsin, and normally it's gazillion below zero and crappy snow everywhere. I'm not a big fan of my home state's weather, but I've lived other places and I always come back here because of family. So right now, as you can see outside, beautiful. It's in the 50s. No snow to be found, so I'm loving it. Anyhow, I made a little thing here that says, if it's snowing, I'm not going. And pretty much I stick to that. There's something, it just looks vintage. It's not, but I think it's really pretty, and I hang it on a tin. I don't like to take all of my Christmas or my regular things down, but I do take almost a very large percentage of things down. There's another one I made. It says Joy. It was on a card that had some glitter on it already, so I just used the middle. I put some of this really cool wrapping paper that I found around there. This is my little joy corner, I call it. I've got a few ornaments and then a little bit of architectural salvage, some of those candles. The only mercury bead picks that I own right there that I got this year actually in a box of like a mixture of ornaments and things that I've bought. And lucked out and found those in there. There's the ornament, or the Noel train. It says 1L, and somebody fixed it on Christmas Day and put Noel. Probably one of my cousin's kids. And that, oh, I should have turned the lights on. I just love that bucket. It's a vintage-like bucket, but it's not vintage. I just love it. And there, get your jingle on. In case you didn't know, you should always get your jingle on if you can. There's some, oh, I don't know why those three little vintage, my dog in the background with one of her Christmas presents. Those three little vintage bottle brush trees, they just keep moving. And I don't know why. It's not like I have a big room and we walk around over here a lot or anything. But anyway, these are so cute. I got those this year too. I think in one of those mixed packages. These are like these little vintage chenille stems. I just think they're so pretty. And moving over here. That's something that I made several years ago with some of my craftier friends. But once I was done, I realized I can be kind of crafty too. Just like the look of it. That shine thing is something a friend bought. I used to sell at a vintage market for many years, and I did again this winter for the Christmas show. I did one show, and anyway, I bought that from her several years ago. It's really cute. Then I only have 4, but these are my 4 vintage toppers, and I think they were on Instagram. I'm trying to try 2 new things at once. I might be crazy. Okay, then this is my shelf with, I use a minnow bucket for that tree. I just think it looks really cute and fits perfectly. Some Ray-Don ornaments hanging in some of those Dollar Spot little houses from the Target Dollar Spot last year. And then a couple vintage greens and little red bulbs around it. Then back in the day, I had every Avon decanter known to man and woman. And I got rid of almost all of them. I kept a few that remind me of my childhood downstairs. And then in recent years, I started collecting them again. Unfortunately, I sold so many of them because when you sell vintage, it's hard to hold on to it. So I don't sell anything anymore. I don't do any selling because I don't like shipping and all that. So I just think that's cute right there. This is the gingerbread man and the little house. I don't have the box for the house, but the box doesn't mean anything. There's some air freshener back there, bayberry. And then I think a lot of people have seen this beautiful cardinal. Actually, I sold that this year. I had 2 of them, so I sold one. And then the lighting is just not great on these. Oh, there it is a little bit on these 3. And then there's that sleigh back there's soap. And so is the little Santa there, you see. Anyway, I just love those. And of course, who doesn't love some milk glass? And I don't collect milk glass, but I do certainly have some pieces. And I just love those 3 particular vases. So, moving on down to the next shelf. I really, really love these things. These might be some of the favorite things that I collect. Again, I am recollecting thermoses because, oh boy, I sold so many in the last several years. Breaks my heart when I see old pictures and think of what I had. Anyway, the white Santa mug, I don't know if he came that way or if he got all washed off because he's perfectly white. He's Japan, so he's an oldie, and I love him. And then I only have one thing that's Holt Howard, and it's this glass. That's all I bought. Oh, I put a picture back here so I wouldn't forget about it. And I like collecting Christmas boxes, which you'll see from department stores. There's one of my Scotch tins that's all plaid. I'm not a big plaid person, but suddenly I love all this Scotch stuff. Over the several years I've been collecting, I just want it all now. And there's a little Santa and Mrs. Santa, which Mrs. Santa has a little chip in the front there. So I kept her instead of selling her when I bought her to sell. I love her, so that's fine. And I don't have a lot of the Santa mugs, but I have 3 of the little and 2 regulars, I guess. That's all I have. And there's some Santa pics inside that mug. I just love this these tins. I don't know why. I think they're just the coolest thing. And that little box right there, I found recently this year. Right there. I found that at a sale somewhere. Must have been an estate sale, I guess I must have been to. Anyway. Oh gosh, I love that shelf. And moving down. These are some department store boxes. I just think are really cool. A friend of mine collects those, and I thought that was really cool, and I did too, started to do. So the 2 bottom ones are Boston Store, which anybody that's in the Midwest would know that is like Carson Peary Scott. It's based out of Minneapolis, so I think. Anyway, Boston Store recently closed, like in the last year. But those old Christmas boxes, those are throwback for sure. And then the one on the 2 in the back are Schuster's, which was before my time. I'm old, but I'm not that old. No offense. And I just think they're adorable. I mean, those, can you imagine Christmas boxes from a department store with those reindeer on them? I just think they're the cutest things. Then I have one little Christmas corsage, and those make me think of Tarnished Treasures. I never actually even thought to look for those until I saw her have them last year or the year before when I first saw her have them. And I was able to find one at some point in time in the last couple of years. So here's just this little pewter bell. Oh, it's so cute. It's got little, see the little trees on the bottom that are in there, and then the tree is on top. One little honeycomb, an old card there. A couple things of invitations. The only ornament hanger I think I have is that one right there. And then a little, I don't know, that's a little drummer, Mary Bell. One of the little Mary Bells there. And I'm going to try to scoot down here to the bottom shelf. My dog is getting in my face. There's a couple more of the old boxes. Gimbals, that's not even a Christmas one. That probably had chocolates in it. Gimbals was a big deal here in Milwaukee. And has many great memories if you're in the area and ever went to Gimbals or anything like that. There's some more little old things. Vintage. That snow is probably not very vintage. It still looks cool though, even though I don't like snow. There's some more of the department store and Christmas boxes. There are the only 2 Putz houses I have. And believe it or not, they are Japan. I just got them this year. Oh, yeah, just got them this year for 25 cents at a church sale about an hour north here of Milwaukee. I wanted to scream, but nobody would have cared. I just love them. And there's a cool Marshall Fields hat box, which I just think goes really well with this. And there's some of the icicles. They're not too vintage. They're probably 70s or 80s. I don't know. But, yeah, not the oldest thing, but they're still cute. And there's some of the old plastic vintage greens. That's from TJ Maxx probably years and years ago. And that, I think, was from Hobby Lobby a couple years ago. Just very vintagey to me. Here's an old Santa couple. And Santa's pipe case. And then this old book that I have it sitting on. That was my mom's when she was a little girl. And I have oh, there's good lighting right there. If I could catch that all the time. a little vintage candy cane and some bells. And then we have more of the greens around the entrance to my kitchen area. Now, like I said, this area is a little messy because I had it all displayed for when I had Christmas. But there's the that I got the other day that I put together, the candle thingamajig. There's a cute, not vintage, but cute, I think, wreath. And then there's a wreath that I got with the little elf. Every single person in my family thought that the elves that I have are creepy. And I know a lot of people agree. Anyway, those are my kids. My son graduated last year, and my daughter graduates this year. And those are their baby and senior pictures. They'll be mortified if they ever see that I posted that. This is going to be really hard to see because it's very light because of the outside. But you can kind of see there's some vintage bells with the satin ornaments on the inside, which I just think you can see a little fuzziness kind of. That needs to be trimmed. I have a really cute 2 vintage stockings. That one right there is plain, and that one right there is not. I don't know how well you can see that. Anyway, it's just the cute. So I have a little bit of like wrapping, like a newspaper in there to try to puff it out a little bit. Anyway, this little tree, I don't know how long I had it. It's not very old or anything. Just put some old ornaments on it though. And then there's the little angel, and a couple of picks that I've got, little presents. There's, I guess Santa fell or something there. Anyway, I think a lot of people have these little Santas. There's another old bucket that's not vintage, but just looks like it. Or 2 of them anyway, actually. And these little bells. Their ones are satin, tiny ones. Oh, I'm sorry for this lighting. I gotta work on that. Then down here, and I should have turned this on, those would start bubbling in a little bit. And then I also have a nightlight thing that's a bubble light. That's not old. These might be. I have the box. They're old. I'm just not sure how old. Anyway, there's some angel hair that's kind of icky to touch. But and there's some girly candles. There's a little milk glass that I use milk glass and some Vaseline glass, maybe uranium. I don't have a black light, I'm not sure. Anyway, just like some little things. That's a little thing my friend made me there on the left side. A little postcard on a flower frog. I'm as obsessed with flower frogs just like everybody else. And then, oh gosh, it's so dark. There's some more Ray Dunn little mugs and ornaments. And then there's some, my 2 little stockings down there. And some ornaments and a little thing with another pick. And there's, these ornaments are so old right here. And then this one is really very, very old. It's the Santa. And of course I would never try to plug those in. I don't even know if I should maybe take them off of the string for decor purposes. I don't know. The string is kind of cute. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll re-look at that next year. And then these are just some candles I put on top of some spools of old ribbon. It's like a cloth ribbon. Some little of these that I have inside a little tin. A little elf that I have inside of a tin that creeped out my whole family. And you know, the elves made me do it. And there's a little, this is like the little elf corner that nobody really could see too much. There's an elf mug that I got that's Ray Dunn, and I had a friend print the yourself decal because I thought that was kind of humorous. Anyway, a little knee hugger in there, a little naughty stocking, and then just this little tree that I put a little hat on. That's, I think, from Bath and Body a long time ago, or a few years ago. And there's this really pretty bird cage that I have. I don't have as many ornaments in there as I used to because I hung a lot of them on that tree now that I have one. And I have a light that I put on inside of there. You can see the wire, I think. And then I've got just those things hanging there. That's actually the cover of the box of cards that I sent out this year. And I just thought it was cute. It was a cute decoration. I have 2 of them. One's in the kitchen. And there's a little elf on a kissing ball. And I think that's it for the living room. So thanks everybody for bearing with my bad lighting. And I'm going to move on to another room here soon. Thank you. Bye everybody.